So Entombed Valley, the site of our next matchup, and they're going to have to reverse again. Yeah. There we go. Oh no. There we go. Beautiful. So, spawning up here in the top left-hand position of Entombed Valley, up 1-0, it's our purple Zerg player, ZamKingelman. And spawning across from him in the lower right-hand corner, down a game after suffering to a little bit of cheese from his opponent, it is our yellow Zerg, EYEofDARKNES. So we'll see if Kingelman goes for the same strategy again. It's kind of an interesting strategy. They were talking about it a little bit in the chat between games. As we saw, EYEofDARKNES made more workers, spent that extra money on the lair, and that kind of set him behind in that unit count. He was able to hold off that first wave of attacks pretty well from Kingelman, but unable to hold off the second wave that included the Banelings. And it's always a difficult balance as Zerg, determining when to drone, when to build units, and it looked like a case of EYEofDARKNES just over-droning a little bit in that last game. So we'll see what's going on. It looks like Kingelman going to go for a little bit of a variation. He's actually got 2 workers. Okay, that one's going out to scout. So this will probably be for 15 hatch. Although he put it a little early, we can actually see the differential. Okay, so he's going for a spawning pool, and we're just going to have this drone hanging out, I guess. It's going to start mining from the mineral patch down there. You see EYEofDARKNES is going to go for the 15 hatch. And hopefully that works out a little bit better for him than last game. Both players actually scouting this top right base first, and going to be a little disappointed at the results. And in comes EYEofDARKNES' drone scout. Sent it out a little bit earlier, assuming perhaps that the mineral disadvantage was well worth it to see that his opponent's pool is, pretty standard time. Gas guys are nearly finished up as well, and this looks like the same opening from Kingelman. If we see him try and throw down an expansion here, which is going to be blocked, at least initially from EYEofDARKNES. And then this is just a little annoying bit of harassment as we see the minerals starting to pile up a little bit for Kingelman. And there goes the hatchery. So the difference in the hatch timings is about 60 seconds, which is a pretty big lead for EYEofDARKNES in that category. But had that same lead last game and wasn't able to pull anything through. So Kingelman was talking about his drone count last game. He went up to 17. This game he's going to 18. Of course, if you make a couple of extra drones and then make a bunch of buildings, it evens out. So we see EYEofDARKNES actually going for 2 spine crawlers inside of his main base this time, rather than just 1 down in his expansion. Feeling, I think, a little bit pressured after that last game. Just wants to play as safe as he possibly can. We see the queen queued up, another queen queued up up at the natural. So we'll have 2 queens and 2 spine crawlers to help him with his defense. We see Kingelman is actually still making drones. So this is going to be entirely different than the last game, I believe. Except that I hit the wrong tab. Yeah, he's up to 21 drones. So we'll see kind of what happens. If he throws down a quick Baneling nest here, it'll be the same thing. We'll check back in. Back in EYEofDARKNES land. We do see this 2 spine crawlers going down at the front, and the queens popping out. Completely on time. First larvae inject down. First gas guys are on the way. And we'll see kind of what happens. We do see Kingelman is going for a roach warren and a baneling nest at the same time. So getting all of his sort of tier 1 tech at once. And I'm curious to see what he wants to do with this. He's shown a lot of kind of interesting builds, maybe a little bit cheesy at times, but just some interesting builds from Kingelman recently. We do see this is actually a really nice wall. This evolution chamber, as well as the spine crawler, is really going to prevent anything from getting in to his natural. Of course, his main isn't as well defended, but he can wall that off with a queen or a couple of zerglings. There's the roach warren down from EYEofDARKNES, and both players playing in the dark. The overlords. There's one hanging out over here, one hanging out over here, but there's nothing sort of in the main path except this drone. Now, a very quick lair as well from Kingelman, and both players very macro-oriented. We see there's actually been no units produced by either player at this point. There's a +1 missile attacks on the way, so we'll see him rely on those roaches for quite a while, and a second extractor as well. And this is kind of curious. They're in sort of the reversed position. Eye of Darkness just making a wall of spine crawlers. There's 5 of them out right now. And now finally getting up the gas geysers. And the first Zerglings have finally hatched. There's 8 of them from Eye of Darkness. And again, no scouting information really from either player. If we look kind of at what Eye of Darkness has seen, we see just the building, initial buildings. Back over here, he has at least spotted this wall in. Units tab, we do see 34 drones to 32 drones. Slight advantage for Kingelman this game, but Eye of Darkness with another round of drones just finishing up, getting the ground carapace upgrade. And this is going to be quite a bit more interesting game. A little bit of a macro ZVZ. There's some roaches headed out. The first roaches have popped. And there's 5 of them, I believe. No, there's only 4. But again, with both of these players playing basically in the dark, this is their initial plans for this game. So uninterrupted, this is what they would be going for. And we see this is so tight right now. He's completely walled off. I think the Zerglings can still slip by spine crawlers, but that's not as big of a deal. And just a very safe opening from Eye of Darkness. We do see he's suffering a little bit for it, behind in the drone count, behind in the supply as well. And Kingelman just massing up roaches right now. And this is sort of against both of these players' style. Eye of Darkness likes a lot of early attacks, likes early pressure, and instead is playing a very macro-oriented game. He's going for the lair. This is significantly later than his opponents, which is already done. Researching burrow already is Kingelman, and this is going to be interesting. If he gets the tunneling claws upgrade right after this roach speed, we could see some shenanigans with shark mode roaches. I believe roaches can burrow. I don't know if they can go under spine crawlers. I actually don't know if they can do anything other than just go up to this wall in. This looks pretty tight. There's a car horn in the background. There's been interesting things happening all night here. But the roaches headed off across the map for Kingelman. There are 18 in this little group. And the Overseer getting in, spotting sort of this interesting ramp, killing the creep tumor, and now trying to force his opponent down the ramp where he has a bigger concave. But Eye of Darkness wise to this, splitting up his roaches, and now spine crawler attacking from the high ground. And this is a very nice defensive position for Eye of Darkness. I don't think Kingelman can get in and do any damage, although he's just streaming roaches across the map. Very impressive macro right now for Kingelman. There's even a couple of overlords trying to come in to meet up with them. Eye of Darkness, meanwhile, only trails by 9 supply. If we look at the army advantage, we do see that's heavily in favor of Kingelman, but those workers will tell in the end. Burrow is done, so we'll be able to heal up those couple of roaches that got poked by spine crawlers. And I think Eye of Darkness would do well just to float out an Overlord and really see what his opponent's doing out there. Or at least try and spread some creep toward him. I don't know if he's feeling contained right now or what's going on. We do see these destructible rocks still up, so Kingelman investing really heavily. We even see not even complete saturation on his natural. In comes the move-in from ZamKingelman. A couple of roaches being picked off, and nothing too much happening right now. These players playing very defensively right now. Kingelman trying to just conserve his roaches. And here comes the big engagement. I think Eye of Darkness has a much better concave at the top of this ramp, and along with the spine crawlers, I think this will be enough DPS, but Kingelman tearing through at least the initial line of roaches, and now he's going to be forced to back off, trailing by 23 supply right now. And this is just a really weird engagement. This queen even getting in to deal a little bit of extra damage, and now Kingelman forced to retreat across the map, still only down by 1 supply, and he's still constantly reinforcing roaches and hydras. Oh, excuse me, not hydras. This is only roaches. He's our purple player. And we see the hive on the way for Eye of Darkness. Along with the a couple of hydralisks and the group spines upgrade, this could be a really deadly timing attack with his roach hydra army. Going up for +2 missile attacks as well as ground carapace. And this is looking fantastic right now for Eye of Darkness. He has The tech lead, he has the supply lead, and now he's forcing his opponent back across the map. He's even going to get these overlords for free with these hydras, but he does need to be careful. Kingelman still has the bigger army, and is now forcing him back with just the greater roach numbers, and he needs to engage with these spine crawlers. This overseer actually giving him vision, denying the creep spread, denying the vision of his opponent, which is really nicely done, but Eye of Darkness still churning out everything. As long as both players keep on tap at the macro, this will be a really interesting game. Kingelman expanding up to the third base. Now, let's just look at the vision of our two players. Eye of Darkness is really contained within his own base. Can't even really spread creep freely. If we look at Kingelman's vision, he's got units across the map. There's some vision up here. He's not too worried about much of anything. Eye of Darkness's hive is finished. He's going for +3 upgrades. He's going to be very ahead on those upgrades very soon. Both players do have the 2-2, but just by virtue of having that hive, you'll be able to get up to the 3-3. Now, catching a couple of these roaches out of position, but this is a horrible concave for Eye of Darkness. And now this is an equally concave for both players. In come the hydras, providing their extra DPS from the back, and it looks like Eye of Darkness should be able to clean this up with just the hydras. There's the burrow. There's no detection here, and he needs to be careful not to get those hydras caught. Kingelman, meanwhile, going back into his base. We do see the pathogen glands upgrade is just completed for his infestors, and Roach Infestor will beat Roach Hydra a good percentage of the time, as long as you can get up a decent mess of infestors. Eye of Darkness taking a ninja third base up here, looking to extend his worker advantage. We do see he's up by 9 drones, which is a fairly respectable number. We actually see the army supply in favor of Eye of Darkness as well, but he's going to miss his timing if he waits much longer. Hydras are only effective until the infestors don't get out there. We do see there aren't actually any infestors in production quite yet from Kingelman. A couple more drones being added in by Kingelman. He'll be up to 52 now. He's taken the worker lead, and here comes the army of Eye of Darkness. He should be able to pick off a couple of these overlords. If he supply blocks Kingelman right before the fight, that can be very key. As he takes out these overlords, needs to be careful with the roaches not to get them too separated. More overlords suiciding themselves in. Kingelman now supply block, and this is the key moment. Now, his opponent cannot produce anything more. He's got 3 infestors on the way, and he'll need to make them count. And there's the detection in. A couple of these roaches taking the first volley. This is a horrible concave for Eye of Darkness going up this ramp. But it might be too much. The roach is falling so quickly for Kingelman. This is kind of an anti-timing for Eye of Darkness. He doesn't have his 3-3 upgrades quite done yet, but it doesn't look like it's going to matter. He starts melting these roaches as they die. The infestor's not able to do too much. There's a decent fungal getting off, but only on a couple of these roaches, and this expansion is going to be gone. All these drones falling as well. Oops, that's not the right button. We look at the worker kill count, 17-1 in this game. The natural expansion falls, and Eye of Darkness up by 50 supply now. And these overlords can suicide themselves in. More free kills for Eye of Darkness, and now he needs to just start streaming units across the map. If we look, he's actually sitting back in his expansion with some of these, and kind of moving out piecemeal, maybe a little bit afraid of getting all of his army caught by infestors. Now the Hydra's moving into the high ground, picking off some of the tech. The infestation pit falls. There's the GG from Kingelman, and we'll go to a game 3. That was an